What's going on YouTube? Kevin Reese here. Today we're going to be doing a video on the driver window motor replacement. We're going to be doing the window, the motor and the regulator, the whole assembly. I think it's just easier a lot of times just do the whole thing. This is going to be in a 2008-2012 Honda Accord. As you can see right here, that's where we're going to be working on. And I've got my drivers, the motor, the window and regulators right here. This is a Dorman, so you can see here. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Alright guys, first thing you want to do, you can see right here, this is your little cover with your tweeter in it. You see you've got a plug in on the back, plug right there, you pop it out. But it sits like this. All you do, you can see these two tabs on the top, they just pop in, and that one right in the middle pops into that hole. So it essentially just pops in. You just pull it off from the top and pop it out. So that's how you get that out of the way. Now we'll go ahead and go around this panel. Looks like a lot of this is just going to be kind of popping out with your hand. I don't see any screws here on this side, so it looks like we're going to do a lot of just popping out. Probably a screw behind this little cover here. If you can see there, that tab, take a small flathead and we'll pop this out and take this cover out. And there's probably a bolt or something back there. Also looks like probably be the same thing with this here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pop those out, and it's probably all that's holding this on. So we'll go ahead and get that done. I don't see anything at the bottom either, except for just, these will just pop out. So alright, so with that cover off, you can see you have two Phillips head screws, and with this cover off, and this cover pops off, and it actually just kind of hangs in there, but you can see there's one Phillips head screw behind that, so we're going to remove those. Alright guys, so let me tell you what I had to do. Just like I said, reach around the corners of that panel and just essentially just pop it all out. Start from the side, and I use this little flathead screwdriver here just to kind of get in the tight spots and work it out. Once you pop it out, you can see you've got this lip here, and it just kind of fits over the top of this frame. So you want to kind of pull everything out and then pick it up on it, and to get it off of that. Just be careful of this right here. I about lost that little pop pin because it came out of the slot, so you're going to need that to put it back in that hole so everything goes back together flush. After that, you just got this vapor shield. All the cars have them on the inside. You just kind of pull. I think somebody's already been in this before, so I'm not sure what kind of problem I'm going to run into, because this you can see this is cut, and some people have put some tape back here. So don't really know why that happened. About to find out though. But anyway, you just pull this vapor shield out, and when you're done, you can essentially, this glue's pretty sticky, it'll pop back on. So you can see how sticky this stuff is, guys. So I've got it off enough. Your electrical connectors, you've got two of them. You've got this piece that pops in down there at the bottom, and then this just screws out your little door light, just a quarter of a turn counterclockwise, and you take it out. Then you've got your two electrical connectors here, and to get that one out, you can see it's just got that regular, the kind of press in pin you press down here on the top, and it just pops out. This one was a little complicated. It's got this kind of funky pin on it that rotated, that I pressed down, and I had to rotate it out like that. You can see it turns inside, and I had to do that to get this connector off. So we're going to go ahead now and pull this motor out. So it's working, but you ain't gonna believe this crap. So when I went to look down the inside here, I saw a wire that was disconnected. The plug for the power for the motor was not hooked up. So I hooked it up, turned it on, hooked my switches back up, window goes up and down just fine. However, since I'm here and I'm already at this point, and it's been a while since I bought that motor and regulator assembly, I'm going to go ahead and replace it, because I would hate for 6 months from now the motor to go out. And it may never go out, but it's just a precaution. And I'm also doing this for you guys, because I told you I'd make a video, and I am. Yeah, so when I get a part, before I start tearing into putting it all in there, I like to make sure it's going to fit. So if you look right here, and it also makes it easier so you can see what's going on behind the scenes. So you see those two holes are for those bolts. You see those two bolts go here, and then your bottom, those three I told you about, you got 1, 2, and 3. So right down there at the bottom where the motor mounts, and then here's your plug on the end, which is the same size as what I have. So everything looks good. Ain't gonna be much to do this. We'll go ahead and do it. That way I'll have video. Y'all will know how to do it if your motor is bad, but just make sure it's plugged up in there, guys, because I tell you, that sure was a heck of a thing to see. If you see my motor in here and I reached down, there was a plug, and I just happened to look in there, guys, and the daggone thing was just laying there. And I said, well, that's some crap. It looked just like that. I looked down in it and I saw a plug laying. And I said, what the heck is going on here? So you can see just like that, I saw that plug and I popped it in. Sure enough, went to working. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the rest of these bolts out. We'll pull this assembly out of here and put the new one in. So you might notice that piece right here. This is something just kind of interesting. It sits down in here. You can see I had to remove another bolt. It was right down here at the bottom right there. It sits in like this. You can see that lip kind of goes right there, and it's actually attached on the outside right here. There's that bolt, and it goes in there like this, guys. Like I said, that lip just sits right there. Not really sure what the purpose of that is. I didn't see it. The window moves on this track right here, so I'm not sure what that's for exactly, other than a piece for a push pin so that pin can pop through that hole and everything will be like perfect in the factory. But anyway, it goes in something like that. I may have to put it behind there like this when I put it behind there like this when I put the new one on, but we'll have to see how that works. So I got the instructions out here, and something that's a little confusing here. Tell me if this makes sense to y'all. So, step number 5, temporarily connect the power switch assembly to lower the door glass, exposing the screws attaching the door glass to the window regulator. Okay, so if you're replacing this, it's probably because your motor doesn't work. So how does temporarily connecting the power to lower the glass supposed to fix anything? Because that's the problem that I'm having right now, is you have to lower this glass down first to get, because you can see the motor's free here at the bottom. It's just hung up at the top, and it's because on this, and you can see right here, I'm going to have to put power to it to bring it up, but this is where the glass sits, and there's screws that hold the glass in place. It's really hard to see, guys, but I'm trying to get a good view of it for y'all. It's even hard for me to see, but it's right down in here. It's very, very hard to see, but that's the problem. This is just holding it in place. You can see I'm moving this and it's just hung up. So I don't know if maybe it has some kind of lock feature built in that when I put power to the motor, that it's going to let it like relax and take the tension off the cable so that I can lower it. I think that's what it's supposed to mean, because if the motor's not bad and that's why you're replacing it, connecting the power to it isn't going to do anything. So that just doesn't make sense. So here you go. There's 2 bolts there. I just turned it on and powered the switch down, which again, guys, like I said, doesn't really make any sense, because if your motor's bad, I don't really know how you're going to get to that. So if I let's see here, I'm going to move this some without, I have power going to it, but it's not actually, so see, I mean, it doesn't really move, so it doesn't really move up and down. It just kind of stays in that spot. So I don't know what they're talking about. Good luck with it if your motor's bad. I don't know how you're going to get to those bolts to get that out of there. So I've taken the screws out. The assembly, you can see, is just kind of laying right there. I pushed this glass back up into place, you can see, and just stuff that old t-shirt in there, and that works just fine. It's holding it in there just fine. So this is our old one here, so we just move it here through this main access panel, and it's a perfectly good working assembly. However, okay, so see, it looks just like, well, pretty similar to yeah, that's it. Alright, so here, old and new, y'all can see that there. So old and new, guys. Like I said, this here looks like it goes in behind there. That's kind of how it was, so we'll put that back into place. And yeah, guys, this is it, new and old. You just threw our new one here into place, and the back of this comes greased pretty good. It looks like they use like some white lithium grease, which is some pretty good stuff. I also, just for the heck of it, I threw a little bit of this water resistance silicone lubricant here. It's WD-40. Pretty good stuff. It's also a good idea if you want to make your motor and everything and go smooth and last a long time. When you roll this down, the inside of these grooves here, spray it with some water resistant silicone, so the inside of that door and the inside of here, this crack also, it'll make it last a long time. Alright guys, so put all your bolts back in. Remember your 2 up here, and you have that tab that pops in, those 2 on there, and remember to put this piece in. And I think that's just used to maybe stabilize this assembly in a way, like at the top. I'm not really 100% sure, guys, but anyway, the engineers at Honda know a lot more about it than I do. So here's your another tab here. That's the bolt for this top piece, and remember, put it on again here at the bottom with that bolt. You got your 3 bolts down here, 1, 2, 3 for your the motor, and plug it in, make sure it works, which I did, and it goes up and down. And with this Honda, it's got the auto up and auto down, so I mean auto up and auto down. Both of those work. Everything seems to be working fine. I will tell you though, when I took it out, and I'll show you, the motor wasn't working. I plugged it in, it was just making that click sound like it did before, like there was power going somewhere. But it was making a clicking sound, so I took my ratchet and I beat on the motor, not this one, but the other motor. I just beat on it some, got it to free up and start working, and just worked it a bunch of times up and down, and it seems to be working fine right now, guys, with no problems. But I thought that I had you know, a dead on arrival motor, which was really starting to piss me off. But anyway, it seems to be working fine now, so heck, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm gonna put this put my vapor shield back on, and go ahead and pop this pop that panel back in place and everything.